वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। नत्वा श्रीभारती तीर्थ
नत्वा श्रीभारती तीर्थ
विद्यारण्यमुनीश्वरो
विद्यारण्यमुनीश्वरो
अधीमहे पञ्चदशीम् कैवल्यपदसिद्धये।
कैवल्यपदसिद्धये।
तत्त्वविवेक प्रकरणं श्लोक नंबर 50। विकल्पो निर्विकल्पस्य सविकल्पस्य वा भवेत्। आद्ये व्याहतिरन्यत्र अनवस्थात्माश्रयादयः।
आद्ये व्याहतिरन्यत्र अनवस्थात्माश्रयादयः।
इदं गुणक्रिया जाति द्रव्यं सम्बन्धवस्तुषु।
इदं गुणक्रिया जाति द्रव्यं सम्बन्धवस्तुषु।
Samam tena svarupasya sarvametadditishyata.
Samam
तेन
tena
स्वरूपस्य
swarupasya sarvamedadishyataम्.
सर्वमेतद्विशिष्यताम्.
Yeah, we can stop at anyatra also. Yahatihi anyatra. This shlokas are the response to the objection raised by the Purva Pakshi. Tat tvam asi, the Mahavakya, the Pramana Vakya, that gives the jnanam of Aikya, Jnana, Bodhaka, Vakyam, Mahavakyam, Pramana Vakyam. It is the Tatparya of Shruti. All the Shrutis, Upanishads have the Tatparya in giving rise to this Jnanam alone. Jiveshwara Aikyam. So therefore here, this Vakyam doesn't match with our experience. What the Vakyam conveys. What the Vakyam conveys doesn't match with our experience. Then how can you, if it doesn't match with my Anubhava, my Anubhuti, my experience, my Vyavaharika Anubhava, then how can we accept? Because it is revealed by the Pramanam. It cannot be revealed by any other Pramanam. Shastra Pramanena eva avagantavyam. Natu anya Pramanena. But there seems to be the contradiction with my Anubhava, the Vyavahara. Not only that, Purva Pakshi also attacks me by asking this question. You say it is Nirvishesha Brahma, Nirgunam Brahma, Advayam Brahma. How can that Advayam Brahma can be communicated? Is it available for communication? Because it is Advayam. When it becomes communicable, like you communicate with regard to the Vishayas of the world, which have Jati, this Guna, Jati, Kriya, Sambandha, Dravyatvam, those objects, those which have available for Shabda Pravritti Nimitta, they only can be communicable. Therefore, your Brahma also becomes one of the object. If it is object in it, then it has to be Savishesham Brahma, it has to be Saguram only, it has to be Sadvayam only. There is no Advayam. So therefore, in both ways, one is my Anubhava, Pratyaksha Anubhava. Other one is Purva Pakshi also corners me. Then what we do in the tradition is, the tradition says when there is a contradiction in the primary meaning, Tatutvam Asi, when there is a contradiction in the primary meaning, Mukhyartha, then we have to go for Lakshana Vritti. We have to go for Lakshana Vritti, and therefore Bhagatyaha Lakshana. By Bhagatyaha Lakshana alone, and therefore we can arrive at the oneness of Jiveshwara. Otherwise, not possible. We cannot take literally the words. If you take literally, then it becomes a vastu which is available for objectification, having this jati, guna, kriya, dravyatvam, sambandha, etc. Therefore, in the previous shloka, the Purva Pakshi raised a question. The ekatvam, oneness, aikyam you talk about. Savikalpasya lakshyatve lakshyasya syat avastuta. Nirvikalpasya lakshyatvam na drishtam na cha sambhavi. The oneness, aikyam, what you say, it is savishesha, nirvishesha. If you answer, then you are in problem. If you say savishesha Brahma, then moksha is not possible. Anirmoksha prasangaha. Therefore, we cannot say it is savishesham. If it is a nirvikalpa Brahma, nirvishesha Brahma, then how can nirvishesha Brahma is communicable? Because it is nirvishesha, not available for the words to objectify. So either way you answer, you are not safe. Therefore only we say, we ask him the counter question. We can answer, we have the answer. Our ultimate answer is, that also we saw in the last class. Any vishesha, any savishesha is mithya. Jagat is mithya. Brahma satyam. Jagat has got vyavaharika satta. Brahma is paramarthika satta. Vyavaharika satta also exists because of paramarthika satta Brahma. Minus that, vyavaharika also not possible. In the dream, the dreamer is there. In the dream, the dreamer is there. In the waking state, waker is there. But there must be a person who is the paramarthika sat, that atma, that has to be there. Then only the vyavaharika, the waker, is possible. In the Swapna Prapancha, the dreamer is possible. Minus that person, dreamer is not possible in the Pratibhasika, waker is not possible in the Vyavaharika. Therefore, that person is not limited by any of this reality. It is the absolute reality. Therefore, only we can accommodate the dreamer and waker also. No problem. Dreamer is Atma, but Atma is not the dreamer. Waker is Atma, but Atma is not the waker. Then what is Atma? Atma is above all untouched. That is why when the person wakes up, when the dreamer wakes up to the waking world, the dreamer gone, waker is real. With regard to the Vyavaharika Prapancha, the waking world, waker is real, dreamer is unreal. Similarly to the Paramarthika, that is real and the waking is unreal. Extending the same logic. As we extend the logic to the dream, the Pratibhasika, and dismiss it as unreal with regard to the waking world. Similarly, we can dismiss the waking world also as mithya from the standpoint of the Paramarthika. Therefore, anything savishesha is mithya, Jagat is mithya. Brahma satyam, Jagat mithya. This Jagat and all subject to change, limited by time, anityaha. Therefore, only Brahma is Sat, Trikale Tishtati. So, therefore, to point out the Brahma, we have to use words, and when we use the words, we don't take the Mukhya Artha. We point out the oneness of Brahma with Jiva. Shastram uses words, but the words have to be handled properly. Therefore, the tradition has the key to unfold the teaching of the Shruti, and therefore by Bhagatyaga Lakshana, it is unfolded. What is unfolded by Shruti, therefore it is not Savishesha Brahma. It is not Savishesha Brahma. If it is Savishesha, then Anirmoksha Prasanga. If you say Nirvishesha, then the Purva Pakshi will ask. Any object which is unfolded by words should come under one of the 5 Kriya, Sambandha, Jati, Guna, Kriya, Dravya. It should be Shabda Pravritti Nimitta. Therefore, it must reveal an object. How can the word reveal Brahma? So, therefore, only we say words alone, but it is by Bhagatyaga Lakshana, by the words. By the words alone, the Brahma is revealed, but the Shruti, the Sampradaya has got the method of unfolding it. And therefore, Brahma is Satyam. Brahma is Satyam. Brahma is Nirvishesham. Therefore, any number of Savishesham, it has to be Mithya. Therefore, can be accommodated, no problem, because Brahma is untouched. Brahma remains untouched. So, therefore, Purva Pakshi can be we can directly answer. This Mithya being Pratibhasika and Vyavaharika, how can they touch the Paramarthika? Because of different orders of reality. It cannot. As the dreamer is not influenced by the waker, similarly the waker is not influenced by the dreamer because of different orders of reality. So therefore, the Paramarthika Brahma, how can it be touched by this Savishesham? Therefore, any number of Savishesham we can accommodate being Nitya. Therefore, no problem. That answer we could have given directly, but we did not give. We asked him a counter question. This type of asking, offending, way of offending reply, offensive reply is Jatyuttaravada. So therefore, Vidyaranyam, here he asked the Purupakshi a counter question. Yes, the Purupakshi a counter question. When we say, for example, Guna and Dravya, this Guna, the attribute, Guna alone cannot exist. Guna, we call it as a Guna, the attribute, that which abides in a Dravya, in a substance. So Dravya is Guna Ashrayam. Dravya is Guna Ashrayam. Guna as its Ashraya in the Dravya, the substance. When we say Neela Gatam, the Neela, the Guna as its abidance or as its Ashraya in the Ghata. Neela Utpalam, blue lily, the blueness as its Ashraya in the flower. Flower is a substance. So, therefore, Dravya is Guna Ashrayam and Guna is Dravya Ashritam. Guna is that which abides the Dravya. Therefore, Guna is Dravya Ashritam and Dravya is Guna Ashrayam. So, Dravya is a support for Guna. Dravya is the support for Guna. So, therefore, here, Guna as Ashraya in Dravya, Guna Ashrayam, Dravya. Then we ask this question, where does the attribute reside? Where does the attribute reside? We show 3 possibilities. We show 3 possibilities for the Ashraya of the attributes Guna, for example, in the Dravya, in the substance. The blue lotus, blue lily example. The blueness, it is the Guna. It has its Ashraya in the Dravya, the flower, the substance. Now, before the guna as its ashraya in the dravya, what was it? What was the substance? Was it with attribute or without attribute? Was it attributeless or with attribute? If you say if it was originally attributeless, the substance, the flower, for example, in the beginning it was without attributes, attributeless in the beginning, the swarupa. Then we ask, how can the blue attribute can go and reside in the flower, in the substance? Because the substance is attributeless, you said. Attributeless cannot have attributes. Nirvishesha cannot have Vishesha attributes. Once it has attribute, then it is not Nirvishesha. Because it is Nirvishesha, therefore it cannot have attribute. And you say this attribute as its ashraya in the substance. Nirvishesha vastu. This is vyahatihi. This dosha is vyahata dosha, vyahatihi. Therefore this dosha of the attributes residing on the attributeless, because it is attributeless, how can it take attribute? Therefore the question is, for the question whether it is nirvishesha or savishesha, whether this substance is nirvishesha or savishesha, that we ask the question to the Purva Pakshi, then you cannot say it is nirvishesha. If it is nirvishesha, vyahatihi, vyaghata dosha will be there. So therefore, we cannot say that. And suppose if we say, if it is savishesha, so at the first level we have this dosha, vyagatihi, vyaghata dosha. Now the second level, if he says savishesha dosha, if he says savishesha vastu, the substance is savishesha. As in the example, blue lily. Before the blue, as its ashraya in the substance, the flower is savishesha. It has savishesha. And the savishesha, the attribute which was there before, that is the ashraya for the blueness. That is ashraya for the blue attribute. That is the blue attribute connected to the attribute which was there previously in the substance, the flower. Now, example for the blue lily, you can take any example like that. Now let us take the attribute P1. The last class I did this. I missed one dosha which I missed and put it here wrongly, that I corrected here. I will explain this. P1 is the property of the attribute. P1 the property, the attribute residing on the substance, a guna residing on the dravya, suppose. Now the P1, the property resting on the substance. Now we ask the question whether the substance is savishesham or nirvishesham, meaning the substance, is it with attribute, without attribute? If he says without attribute, nirvishesham vastu, the substance is nirvishesha, then how can this attribute have its ashraya in the substance? That is vyaghata dosha, self-contradiction. If this P1 has its ashraya in the substance, and the substance is nirvishesha vastu, then problem, vyaghata dosha, self-contradiction. Therefore, he cannot say the substance is Nirvishesha. He has to say Savishesha. The second level. Now we come to the second level. Second level, the attribute P1. No, he says the attribute P1 rests on the attribute 2. And the attribute, the rest of the substance, which has the attribute P2. So he is introducing one new attribute. That is, the substance with the attribute P2 is the ashraya for the attribute P1. So P1 rests on the substance with the attribute P2. Now we ask him the question. P2 is there. Okay, that question will, here also Vyaghata dosha is there. Just for you to see. P2, the attribute, again resting on the substance. Then we will ask substances, Savishesham or Nirvishesham. If it is Nirvishesham, then again back to the first one, Vyaghata dosha will result. Anyway, that already we asked. We can ask him again also, but we are asking another question here. That also understood. It's not that we didn't ask, that is also understood. Now we say the P2, the attribute, you say that P2, if the P2 is, whether P2 is equal to P1, whether P2 is equal to P1, the property P2, the attribute P2 is equal to P1. Yes, if we say, then it is Atma Shreya dosha, an attribute resting on itself. An attribute resting on itself. It's a problem. How can an attribute rest on itself? The substance has the attribute P2, and the P2 is equal to P1. Then P1 and P2, they are same. Then the same attribute rests on itself. It's a problem. So you cannot, that is Atma Shreya dosha, it's a defect. It is the same attribute. One attribute, if there are two different attributes, at least we can say one is the Ashraya, other one is Ashrita. But here it is same. Therefore, we have the defect Atma Shreya dosha, self-dependency defect. To avoid that, he will say, no, P2, the attribute as its Ashraya on P1, suppose if he says, the attribute P2 as its Ashraya in P1 on the property itself. P1 as its Ashraya on P2 and P2 as its Ashraya and on P1. This is Anyonya Ashraya. Onnala nanketta, ennala deeketta. That dosha will be there. Anyonya Ashraya. When you study, you will pass. When you pass, you study. It's a Anyonya Ashraya. When announcement is made, people will come. When announcement is made for the program, people will come. People will come, an announcement should be made. Then it's a problem. So want to conduct a program. You want people to come. If announcement made, people will come. You will say people will come, then only I will make announcement. It's a problem. So this is Anyonya Ashraya dosha, mutual dependency. Therefore, he cannot say P2 resides as its Ashraya on P1 because P1 resting on P2 and now he cannot say P2 resting on P1. This is Anyonya Ashraya dosha. Now therefore he says, okay, this is one thing. Then for the first one, if P2 is equal to P1, we ask, suppose it says, no, P2 is not equal to P1, not equal. If it is not equal, then this P2, now we ask this question again. P2 is resting on the substance. How can the P2, if you say P2, the attribute, rest on the substance? Again, we ask the question, the substance, whether it is Savishesham or Nirvishesham. If it is Nirvishesham, then Vyaghata. If it is Savishesham, then he has to say, if it is Savishesha means then he has to say the substance as the property P3, that is the Ashraya for P2. He has to introduce P3. L plus 3, he has to introduce the attribute property P3. Because he cannot say this P2 resting on the Nirvishesha Vastu, he cannot say. If he says Vyagata, the first level defect will come. So therefore, as the first level Vyagata dosha, at the second level we have Atmashraya dosha, the third level we have Anyonyashraya dosha. Therefore, now he has to say, no, the P2 must be resting on the another property, P3, that is the substance. Here again also the same three dosha. This possibility is that Vyagata, Atmashraya, Anyonya, all the doshas are there. Again, we will asking the same question. So we'll get the same defects. P3 resting on substance, whether it is Savishesha, Nirvishesha. If it is Nirvishesha, you will get Vyagata dosha. Then that is number one. And P3 is equal to P2 if you say, then we have self-dependency at Atmashraya dosha as we had in the second level. Atmashraya dosha, P3 is equal to P2. Now, if we say P3 resting on P2 and therefore P2 resting on P3, we have Anyonya Ashraya dosha, the defect at the third level. Now, if we say no, P3 resting on the substance with P4, then P4 is P4 on P4 P3 and P3 P2 on P2 P1. Then again we have the same question too with regard to the attribute P4. L plus 3 has to introduce the another attribute P5. Again we have the same question. So there will be defect at all the three levels. Therefore, he will introduce again one more property P6. Again one more up to goes. This is called Chakraka dosha, Anavastha. This is called Anavastha dosha. This is called Anavastha dosha, infinite regression. Chakraka dosha, sorry, I didn't explain. Chakraka dosha is, between one dosha is the Chakraka dosha, cyclic dependence. That is, he says, P3, he asks the question, P3 whether is equal to P2. P3 is not equal to P2 if he says, P3 is not equal to P2, then the P3 and P3 rest on P1. If he says P3 is not, before introducing the P4 attribute, suppose if he answers, we ask him first in the beginning whether P3 is equal to P2. If he says Atmashraya dosha, then if he says P3 rest on P2, then P2 rest on P3, therefore Anyonya Ashraya dosha. Then if he says P3 is not equal to P2 and P3 rest on P1, then what happens? P1 rest on P2 and P2 rest on P3 and P3 rest on P1, P1 rest on P2, P2 rest on P3, P3 rest on P1. So we have cyclic dependence, Chakraka dosha. If he answers for our questions at all levels, we have different defects coming. So at the first level, Vyagata dosha, self-contradiction. At the second level, we have Atmashraya dosha, self-dependency defect. At the third level, we have Anyonya Ashraya dosha. At the fourth level, we have Chakraka dosha, cyclic dependence. It will be in a cycle, each attribute depending on the other attributes. If you say P3 is equal to, that is a substance with P3 is equal to P1, the original attribute, what we said, introduced in the beginning, then it will be a cyclic dependency. To avoid that, if he says and introduce a new attribute P4, then P4 will give rise to P5 and P5 will give rise to P6, and infinitely we can go. That's infinite regression, Anavastha dosha. So all these doshas will result. If this is for the guna, this is for guna. Therefore, we can extend the same thing to Kriya, Sambandha, Dravya, Jati. The argument is same, samam for all the features of the objects which are revealed by words. Therefore, Purva Pakshi cannot argue further. he asked us question, for which we asked him counter question and established all the 5 defects. This is what the author mentioned. This is what the anavastha ashrayadayaha iti in the shloka. He didn't mention all the dosha, but he just said adye vyagati. In the beginning, it is vyagati dosha. That is substance resting on the nirvishesha vastu. That is vyagati, self-contradiction. Otherwise, if he says no, then he will be continuously attacked and its defects, its fallacy will be shown. Anyatra anavastha-shraya-dayaha, atma-shraya, anyoni-ashraya, chakarka-dosha, and anavastha-ashraya dosha. All these defects will be shown at different anavastha dosha. Anavastha dosha, up to anavastha dosha, we can showing the defects. So therefore, he cannot argue, now he is cornered. That is what the author said in the 50th shloka. So this you can, this chart you can understand. This you can leave this here. This chakraka dosha are not introduced, and there was one small mistake here. So this is because I did in the class online directly. There was a mistake cropped in, but this is fine. I hope you understand this. This is simple. So all these are dosha. This is a little difficult shloka because these defects are to be understood. Defects are shown. Just the author says the dosha. Even adayaha pada, adi padat, other doshas also we have to understand. Atma ashraya, anyoni ashraya, chakarka dosha also anavastha, up to anavastha. So different levels we are showing the defects on the argument, defects on the view of the Purva Pakshi, fallacy of the Purva Pakshi. Vyagati, starting with Vyagati up to anavastha. Now, so this is Jati Uttara Vada. Now let us read the Tika. Tika is little difficult. What I said, that is better. Very Tika, just I will read quickly and say. And before, the Vikalpa, when we say, Savikalpa, Vikalpa is this with the attributes. Vikalpa is that which has Vikalpa alone is available for Shabda Pravritti. So Vikalpena saha vartate Savikalpa. So Vikalpena saha vartate Savikalpa. So when we say Vikalpena saha vartate, Vikalpena, how the word Savikalpa comes? Savikalpa Shabdasya Vitpattihi. Vikalpena saha vartate. So Vikalpena Tritiya Vibhakti. It is Tritiyanta Pada Vikalpena. Vikalpena Vartate. What? That is Savikalpaha. That Savikalpa is Pratamanta. So the substance is pointed out by the Pratama Vibhakti, Savikalpaha, by Tritiya Vibhakti, Vikalpena Saga Vartate. Therefore, that Savikalpa must be different from Vikalpa. Because of Tritiya Vibhakti and Pratama Vibhakti, we can easily understand that Vikalpa must be different from the substance. Because the substance is Savikalpa. Savikalpa means Vikalpena Sagavartate. Along with the Vikalpa, it is what? That it is Savikalpa, the substance. And that further we use Pratamanta, Savikalpaha. Pratamantam padam. What is Savikalpa? That which along with Vikalpa, Vikalpena Sagavartate. So Tritiyantam padam. Because of the Vibhakti difference itself, we can understand the Vikalpa must be different. The Vikalpa is different, or Vikalpa rest on the substance. So different the difference is shown by the difference in the vibhakti. Therefore, only we ask him the questions. All these questions arise. If the substance is nirvikalpa, then no question. But Purva Pakshi, for them, everything is Savishesham only, because for him, according to Purva Pakshi, Shabda Pravritti Nimitta is possible only when there is Jati Guna Kriya, all these Vikalpas are there, then only it is possible. He says, therefore only substance is Savikalpa. When the substance is Savikalpa, the Vikalpa must be different from the substance. So we ask him, we make him see that the fallacy. We ask him question and make him see the fallacy of his view. Here the author says, the Tikakara will read, Siddhanti Jatyuttaratvat na idam cha adyamiti vikalpapurvakam dosham aga. Jatyuttaravadam. This is offensive, not defensive, offensive. Na idam cha adyamiti. Na idam chodyam. Na idam chodyam, not na idam chodyamiti. Should not ask this question. Vikalpa purvakam dosham aga. Preceded to vikalpa, the defect is shown. Chodyam. Chodyam is questioning. Vikalpa iti. Savikalpasya nirvikalpasya lakshyatvam iti va. Yaha vikalpaha tvaya kritaha saha kim. Nirvikalpasya uta savikalpasya bhavet. Savikalpa sarvikalpasya nirvikalpasya lakshyatvam iti va. Yaha vikalpaha. The vikalpa, what you say, vikalpa, tvaya kritaha. That vikalpa, does it belong to nirvikalpa or savikalpa? The vikalpa as its ashraya in nirvikalpa vastu or savikalpa vastu. If it is say nirvikalpa vastu, adye pratame pakshe vyagatihi tvaya uktaha vyaghataha eva. If you are contradicting yourself, vyagata dosha. If you say adye means if you say nirvikalpa, the substance is nirvikalpa, then it is vyagatihi. Anyatra dvitiye. Otherwise, on the other hand, if you say no, if it is anyatra means savikalpa, if you say, then anavastadayaha, you will have anavasta, etc. Those doshas. Tatahi savikalpasya vikalpaha ityatra vikalpena sagavartate. This is what I said. Savikalpa, the substance is savikalpa. That only has to say. You cannot say nirvikalpa. Nirvikalpa means that it's first level itself we defeat him. He cannot say anything. Therefore, he has to say savikalpa. If he says savikalpa, the word savikalpa, vikalpena sagavartate. Iti atra tritiyanta vikalpa padena pratamanta vikalpa padena cha ekaha eva vikalpaha abhidiyate dova. It's a nice, beautiful way of asking. Savikalpa, when we say, savikalpa is vikalpena saha vartate. That is what savikalpa word is. That itself shows there must be vikalpa. Vikalpena tritiyantam padam. And that substance is savikalpa. So, because of the tritiyantam padam and pratamantam padam, what is denoted by the tritiyanta padam, vikalpa parena, and the pratamanta padam, savikalpa, that is it both are same? Vikalpaha abhidiyate, ekaha eva vikalpaha abhidiyate, or dova. Is it same or different? Is it same or different? That is the vikalpa, the P1 resting on the substance with the property P2. Because he cannot say substance is nirvikalpa. Nirvikalpa means vyaghata dosha. Therefore, he associates the substance is vikalpa. So, vikalpena saga vartate, the vikalpa which is there resting on the substance, with attribute, then that property, that P2 on the substance and P1, the property, are they same? Ekaha vikalpaha vidiyate, or dova, are they two different attributes? The first level, vyaghata, second level, dosha is asked here, dosha is pointed out. Ekaha eva chet. If he says no, P2 is equal to P1, you can understand our chart. P2 is equal to P1. Ekaha eva chet. Swayam ekaha eva vikalpasya विशेषतया आश्रयः तदाश्रिता विकल्पः चेत् आत्माश्रयता, that is dosha, atmashayata. If P2 is equal to P1, then it is atmashraya dosha. Ekaha eva chet swayam ekaha eva vikalpashrayah visheshanataya ashrayah. Vikalpashraya means visheshanataya ashrayah vikalpashrayah tad ashrita vikalpah chet tad atma ashrayata. It has the status of atmashrayatvam, that is atmashraya dosha. Self-dependency defect will come if you say P2 is equal to P1. Dau chet tada tritiyanta shabda nirdishtasyapi vikalpasya vikalparupatvat tadashrayasyapi savikalpatvat tad visheshena bhutaha vikalpaha kim pratamanta shabda nirdishtameva vikalpa uta tabyam anyaha. Now the question comes, if it is dau chet, if they are dau chet tada tritiyanta shabda nirdishtasyapi, that which is indicated by the tritiyanta shabda, vikalpasya vikalparupatvat tad ashrayasyapi savikalpatvat visheshana bhutaha vikalpaha kim pratamanta shabda nirdishtameva vikalpaha uta tabyam ashrayah iti. That is talking about. Now the P2, the property, as its ashraya on the substance having the property P3, and P3 if he says is equal to P1, then we will have anyonya ashraya dosha. That's what he says. Adye anyonya, again is all the other doshas he is pointing out, introducing the new attribute P3. Anyonya, adye anyonya ashrayata, द्वितीये अपि धर्म विशेषणी भूतः विकल्पः किं प्रथमान्त शब्द निर्दिष्टमुत तेभ्यः अन्यः आद्ये चक्रक आपत्तिः, चक्रक दोषः. P3 is equal to P1, then P1 resting on P2 and P3 resting on P1, so you will have cyclic dependency. द्वितीये तस्यापि अपि अन्यस्य तस्यापि अन्य इति अनवस्थापातः इति. If you say it is different, then you keep adding on the attributes and it will result in anavastha dosha, infinite regression. This is what I explained through the chart. This is little difficult to understand. The chart is better. This is what Tikakara says. Elaborately, he said that all the defects he has pointed out. At every stage, we have to point out the defects of the previous stage. But I didn't do that. I just mentioned quickly. Each stage, if you understand different defects, then it will be easy. Otherwise, it will be confusing little. Every stage we have to analyze. Every stage has got the previous stage defects. Therefore, Purva Pakshi cannot say anything. Therefore, idam guna kriya jati. This also we saw in the last class. Gunaha kriya jati dravyam sambandha iti eteshu vastushu samam tulyam tena swarupasya sarvam etat iti ishyatam. So this, I think we have seen this shloka also. Idam guna kriya jati dravya sambandha vastushu. The vastu which has this. Evam, the same way as we did for the guna, we can extend this for kriya jati dravya sambandha, all the others also. Because these alone are Shabda Pravritti Nimitta, therefore it cannot be expressed through Shabda. What is revealed by Shruti not available for ordinary usage of the words. The same thing we have pointed out for one, we have pointed out for the one attribute. If that is for one attribute, then same thing can be extended for Guna, Kriya, Sambandha, Dravya and Jati. The same argument is samam for all the features of the objects. Therefore, Purvapakshi cannot say anything. If the above argument is for guna, then same thing for kriya. The same thing for jati, dravya, sambandha. Sambandha vastushu, samam. Therefore, vikalpa, nirvikalpasya, savikalpasya va. It is our question for this. We have pointed out the dosha. If we say nirvikalpa vastu, then dosha. If it's a vikalpa, then also dosha. All the doshas are pointed out. Adye vyagatihi, that is at the first level. Then in the second level, we pointed out Atma Ashaya dosha. Third level, Anyonya Ashaya dosha. Fourth level, Chakraka dosha. And finally, Anavasta dosha. So all the doshas are there. So therefore, these doshas are there for all the features. Therefore, this Nayayika, Purvapakshi cannot answer. He cannot answer. If he cannot answer, then he will not keep quiet. He will ask us to answer. Okay, I don't have answer. You answer. I asked a question before. Now you give me the answer. This is not the answer. I don't have answer, I agree. But for the question what I asked, what is your answer? You will ask us question. This Jati Uttaravada now helps us to make the Nayayika, make the opponent ready to accept what we say. We cannot dismiss. He doesn't have answer, then if we say he has to accept. And that is in keeping with the logic. The reasoning is that we don't say anything illogical. Therefore, we say Sarvam etata Swarupasya Visheshatam. All the features, all these features, jati, guna, kriya, etc., that they can abide in Nirvishesha, Brahma. The whole Jagat as its ashraya in the Nirvishesham. How if you ask, that is Vastu, on the Brahma, all these can have ashraya. All these can have the ashraya because these ashrayas are mithya and ashrita Brahma is satyam. It is because this Vyavaharika and Pratibhasika, they are different orders of reality, and the Vastu, the Brahma is Paramarthika. But for you, everything is Vishesha, including Brahma, but not for us. Brahma is Nirvishesha. When it is Nirvishesha, then these unreal Vishesha can have its ashraya on Nirvisheshan Brahma. That's no problem. For you, the Visheshas are real. The whole Jagat is real. For you, the Jagat is real, therefore moksha is not possible. Out of Jagat, there is no moksha. For us, Brahma is Nirvishesham. And these are Mithya, we say. These can have Ashraya and Brahma. In fact, they have Ashraya and Brahma. And Ashita Brahma cannot be touched by these Ashrayas. It can accommodate any number of Ashrayas. So from the Paramarthika standpoint, we can dismiss this Vishesha. Why we dismiss? Because they are of different order of reality. Within the same order of reality, you cannot dismiss. In Vyavaharika, you cannot dismiss. In Vyavaharika, you cannot dismiss one thing from the other, because we enjoy the same order of reality. Within the same order of reality, empirical reality, that we cannot dismiss, because we enjoy the same order of reality. The Vyavaharika, Vishesham is there. Vishesham, the attributes are there, and substance are there with the attributes, that if they are real, then you cannot dismiss. We are dismissing not in the same order of reality. We are dismissing from the Paramarthika standpoint. Therefore, no problem. Paramarthika is like that darkness and light, they cannot coexist. The same order of reality. The same order of reality The same order of reality, darkness and light cannot coexist. Whereas the different order of reality, it can coexist. There is no problem. It can coexist. Like the Akasha, the sky is blue. That is Vyavaharika. But what about Paramarthika? Really speaking, Paramarthika is only an example. Akasha, the sky is blue for your perception. But really sky is blue? No. Even sky is not blue, but you see the blueness. Even in Vyavahara itself, you see something, but really it is not. Then what to talk about Paramarthika? So therefore, since Paramarthika is the reality which gives Satta Spurta to Vyavaharika and Pratibhasika, therefore this reality cannot touch. It is like the pot touching the clay. The clay alone has become the pot. The change happening to the pot will make change to the clay. No. Change, in fact, pot itself is not there. Ultimately, that we say pot itself is not there. What is there is only clay. So, all the way it is clay only. All the way it is Brahma only. The change happening to the pot is not a change happening to the clay. Clay remains as a substance throughout. It is a pot which undergoes change. In the beginning, it was a pot. Then it was given a color, become a color pot. Then you break it. Now the pot has become broken pot. Whether it was pot or color pot or broken pot, all the way it was only clay. All these are only the Vishesha what you add. In spite of Vishesha what you add, the clay remains same. It didn't change. Similarly here also, Paramarthika, Sat Brahma cannot change. The whole Jagat rests on this Paramarthika, Sat Nirvishesham Brahma. Therefore, the whole Jagat means any number of Vishesha. All the Jagat has got innumerable number of Vishesha. All the Vishesha cannot exist. It must have Ashraya on the Nirvishesha. There is no other way. There is no other way for the Jagat to enjoy existence. How the Asat enjoys existence. For Asat to be there, it must have its Ashraya on Sat Brahma. Asato vidyate bhavaha, nabhavo vidyate sataha. Asat cannot exist on its own. It must have its existence helplessly on Sat. So, and Sat cannot be Vishesham. If it is Vishesham, then it must have problem. Then it must have Ashraya on something else. That again lead to Anavastha dosha. And therefore, that Sat Brahma is Nirvishesham Brahma and belonging, that is of different order of reality. Therefore, as the same person passing through the dream stage and the sleep stage, that person remains untouched because of the different states he passed through. The person is the Paramarthika, as just for Drishtanta's sake. The person is real, the dreamer is unreal. Vaker is unreal from the standpoint of the Swarupa, Chaitanyam is unreal. So Chaitanyam, the Sakshi, who is a witness of all, the Pratibhasika and Vyavaharika, he remains untouched. He remains untouched by any changes happening in the Vyavaharika or in the Pratibhasika. So to here also, therefore, this Vidya Vishesha, the Vidya attributes cannot touch the Nirvishesham. Therefore, Nirvishesham Brahma, the Brahma is Nirvishesham. Therefore, all these attributes can have its Ashraya in Brahma, no problem. And that Brahma is available for communication through the words of the Shastra by Bhagatyaha Lakshana. By Bhagatyaha Lakshana, by the words, it's not the ordinary words, the words of the Shastra. Laukika words cannot establish Brahma. We need the words of the Shastra. We need the words of the Shastra by Lakshana Vritti, Bhagatyaha Lakshana. The Aikyam is established Aikyam can be shown. Iti Nirvikalpasya Ishyata. Sarvam etat iti Nirvikalpasya Ishyatam. Iti we say. Therefore, Nirvikalpa, Brahma is Nirvikalpa. It is not Savikalpa. In the beginning, we said if we answer anything, we will be got. But now, finally, we give the defensive answer. Brahma is Nirvishesha. That is what is told here. Na kevalam atra eva idam dushanam api tu sarvatra evam vida vikalpa purvakam doshanam prasarati itiyaha. Not only with regard to the particular feature, with regard to all the features, sarvatra guna kriya jati sambandha, these doshas are there. This dosha is spread out. Prasarati iti aha idam iti. Idam vikalpa dushana jatam, these jatam, the samugam, the group of these defects, vyagata, starting from vyagata up to anavastha dosha. Gunakriya jati dravya sambandha vastushu, gunadi sambandhanteshu, panchasu vastushu, samam. The doshas are common for all the five. Tatahi, gunaha kim nirgune vartate, guna resides in nirguna, atava gunavati, or does it reside in that which has got a guna? Gunavati means gunaha asya asti, gunavati vastu, gunavati iti. Kriya api kriya ragite vartate, atava kriyavati, all that is resides in that which has got kriya. Adye vyagataha anyatra atmashrayadaya iti sarvatra cha evam ugyam. Therefore, this can be ugyam, it can be surmised, guessed, it can be extended to all the other guna, kriya, jati, sambandha, beginning from vyagata up to other doshas. Nanu idam asat uttaram. This is not the nanu idam asat uttaram chet kim sad uttaram. This is only a jati uttaram. This is only an offensive reply. Then what is saduttaram? What is the real answer? Saduttaram iti ashankya aga. Tena evam vikalpasya asangatattvena etat gunadikam sarvam swarupasya iti ishyatam gunadeyaha sarve vastu swarupe vartate iti aviprayaha. Gunadeyaha, everything as its ashraya on the Nirvishesham Brahma, Ekam Paramarthikam, that Nirvishesham Brahma, in that only all these have its ashraya. Gunakriyadayaha tattat vastu swarupaha iti jnatavyam. Therefore, this guna, etc., gunadayaha sarve vastu swarupe vartate iti aviprayaha. Vastu swarupe iti vartate. All these they are in the vastu. They are in the vastu. Gunashreha, etc. All these they must reside in the vastu. Nirvikalpa vastu. That is the answer. That is the Sat Uttaram. By Asad Uttaram, we dismissed the Purvapakshi's view. Then we give Sad Uttaram, by which etat gunadikam sarvam, all this guna, etc. Swarupasya iti ishyatam. It must have its ashraya in the swarupa, vastu swarupe vartate. Swarupasya means tattat padarthasya swarupasya. All these vishesha have its ashraya and the swarupa gunadikam, they have ashraya in the swarupa. Swarupa is tattat padarthasya swarupasya. Tattat padarthasya swarupasya iti ishyatam iti jnayatam vijnayatam. May it be known that these have its ashraya on the vastu swarupa. Therefore, they don't exist on the Savikalpa, they exist on the Vastu only. Swarupa. Vastu Swarupe Vartate. If that is so, then all these Vishesha, we say it exists on Nirvishesham Brahma. Nirvishesham Brahma. So therefore, the Purva Pakshi now, we cannot but accept what we say. Having seen fallacy on his own side, then when we give our answer, he must be convinced with our answer. He must be convinced with our answer. Therefore, all the Visheshana, since they reside on the Swarupa of the Vastu, on the Vastu, Vastu Swarupe Vartate. Therefore, the Brahma has to be Nirvishesha. It is Nirvishesha Brahma. It can have Vishesha. It can have Vishesha. It can have Vishesha at the same time not touched. At the same time not touched. That is going to be said Asprishtam iti, the next shloka. It is even though all the Visheshas rest on this Nirvishesha Brahma, the Brahma is not contaminated. It is Asprishtam, not touched. Nainam Chindanti Shastrani. Nainam Dagati Pavakaha. So that Atma, that Brahma, not subject to any change. It remains as it is. Trikale Tishtati Sat remains untouched, unchanged. Therefore, it is Paramarthika. That is why we say Paramarthika Sat. All these are Vyavaharika. Vyavaharika as it Ashayan Paramarthika Sat. Therefore, they are Asat. They enjoy different order of reality, empirical reality, and the Pratibhasika reality, subjective reality. Iti Abhiprayaha Vastu Swarupe Vartate iti Abhiprayaha. Then the next shloka, there we say how this Brahma is not touched. Asprishtam. That we will see in the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರುಜಿ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಸರ್.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರುಜಿ. ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಶರಣಜಿ.